I know. Hello, everyone. I'm Michaela Wright. I am the CEO of FashionMarketing.me, which is a online digital agency that caters to fashion and beauty brands.
And my name is Crosby Norix. I am the founder of PR Couture, which is a fashion PR marketing and social media blog. And I'm also the social media strategist for Red Door Interactive, which is an interactive agency based in San Diego.
My name is Maria Agrava, and I work with Michaela at FashionablyMarketing.me. I'm the director of community.
So, thanks, everyone. We are here today to continue what we started in New York, talking about retailers using Twitter to build and engage communities. So, how many of you out there follow a brand or your favorite retailer on Twitter? Raise your hand. Oh my gosh, that's great. There's a lot of you. So, it kind of begs the question of, in our industry, we've been very slow to adopt social platforms. But lately, there's been a lot of innovative things that have been being done that have centered around Twitter. Maria?
Yes, absolutely. I've been seeing a lot of really great things, and before we can get any further, one thing that I'd like to kind of get into is that fashion is very different from just about any other industry because it's so incredibly visual. So if you want to be successful online with fashion, you have to be very cognizant of extending the offline experience to online. It's all about visual merchandising. So the creative things that are actually winning in the marketplace all have that common thread, is that they're fiercely creative, they're fiercely focused on online merchandising. So I think the biggest success story so far, and my personal favorite, or one of my personal favorites, is Polyvore. And you guys may have heard of it. It's a tool that's ridiculously easy to use and allows you to clip any image from the web and put it together into a set. So it's actually not limited to just fashion. Anything that you can put together in a set, it can be a room of furniture. So for retailers, it's amazing because it allows consumers to interact directly with their product. So it's kind of like an endorsement. When people are using your items to put together a set, you can kind of understand who your brand champions are and kind of pay attention to them. It allows brands and retailers to become social immediately on the spot. There are very successful instances of running contests on Polyvore. For example, Tory Burch did a contest that was extremely successful. She had folks put together outfits on a theme of Venice, and the main prize was a trip and some free merchandise, I believe, and that was incredibly successful. And the reason that something like Polyvore is so successful is because it's extremely viral, because when you put together your set, you want to share it. And this is where Twitter and other real-time social technologies come into play really well, because you put together your outfit or your set and you automatically just want to tell all your friends, look at my set, and that's how they discover all the great brands that you like and that you want to share with them. So another success story, in my opinion, is a site like Chictopia. It takes some of that same principle of putting together outfits and kind of crowdsourcing your fashion, but it allows you to put an outfit on yourself and kind of find other folks that have your same body type. Because something may look really good in a Polyvore set or on a hanger, but fashion is so personal and it's so tied to your body type. So you want to see other folks who look like you wearing the clothes and really how it looks on them. Another site that I think is doing a really good job is Fashism. And that one is fairly new, and basically what that does is allow you to, as a user, to snap a photo of yourself in an outfit and then submit it for crowdsourcing to have people kind of vote on it and say, do you like it? How would you change it? So it's that immediate feedback that we kind of expect from real-time internet. So if I was to tweet, what are some successful ways that I can do that? What are kind of some pros and cons that as a brand and a retailer against using Twitter?
Sure. So I think certainly there are a lot of ways, that individuals are engaging with brands and retailers online, specifically through Twitter. As somebody that works with brands on their sort of Twitter engagement strategy, I just wanted to touch on kind of three main core sort of focuses. One of that is really about balance. It's about making sure that you're not just sharing that one-way communication tool. I think especially for fashion brands, sometimes the strongest statement that you can make is retweeting something that somebody else has said about you. The second thing that we like to think about is our different audiences. So we definitely have, your fans, your loyalists, but there are other audiences to consider. There are your employees, there's media opportunities, and making sure that you're, answering as many at-replies and direct messages as you possibly can and making that your priority as opposed to just, sharing, your latest promotion or sale is really important. And then thirdly, I think Twitter offers so many different sort of third-party applications or add-ons that really function great as a consumer insight tool. So we work with Charlotte Russe, for example, and that community is so incredibly vocal and passionate about what they love and what they absolutely don't love. So we've had some really great success with sort of asking for feedback on trends, asking people for feedback on their experiences, and encouraging them to sort of tell their own stories, and then just helping them get that message out further by retweeting or broadcasting those opportunities on Twitter. And so that really comes about from just making sure that you're being really reflexive and you're asking questions, and you're really allowing your community to tell you what they need and what they expect and what they enjoy most from you on that platform, because they'll definitely tell you. So, of course, it's really great to do all this engagement and back and forth, and that's really fun, but I think also, we're working with businesses, there are business goals to be met, so I'd like Maria to talk a little bit about, Michaela to talk a little bit about, how do you actually measure Twitter in terms of ROI?
Well, the simplest way to measure Twitter in the form of ROI is direct sales codes. You've seen Amazon, you've seen Dell, I've even seen Old Navy and Gap do that very successfully, things that are only put through their tweets and or their Facebook. Where it becomes a little softer is it's when it comes to the consumer sentiment. It is difficult to track sentiment and to build metrics around that. So what you really have to do is look at the current relationship values in order to establish your metrics for Twitter. And for retailers, the ROI of Twitter or Facebook or anything that's an online platform isn't directly related to just online. There has been a huge amount of crossover between online to offline mediums. So live tweeting events, live tweeting runways during Fashion Week, and even doing scavenger hunts, pop-ups events, tweeting and, Betsy Johnson's going to be in the store in 10 minutes, run over there to see her, and then seeing how that correlates. So monitor the tweets, use the hashtags in order to track how you're using your online to drive in-store traffic, which for a retailer, it needs to be a very synergistic strategy. So we wanted to stop there and not use all our time to talk and answer any specific questions anyone may have via Twitter or in the audience. Is there anything? Anybody? No? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, you named some great sites. Who are some of the people online in terms of who you consider great examples to follow that are on Twitter as opposed to auxiliary websites?
Oh, okay. I know we all have our favorites. One of my absolute favorites as far as brands would be Hayden_Harnett. They do a phenomenal job. I mean, you want to talk about like the epitome of social. They are definitely one of them. Not because I love Crosby, but Charlotte Russe does amazing jobs engaging. DKNY, and also Oscar De La Renta's Oscar PR Girl. You love to hear about